Why is God allowing so much suffering in your life? I know what you must be thinking. Am I being punished? Why does everything seem to be going wrong? But what if I told you that the pain you're feeling is not a punishment, but a divine sign? Something much bigger is happening right now, something you can't fully see. The suffering you're going through has a purpose, a reason behind it that goes beyond your understanding. This isn't the end, as you might think, but the beginning of something that could transform your life forever. I know you feel lost, maybe even abandoned, but what you don't realize yet is that God is more present in this suffering than ever before. It's time to face the truth you've been avoiding, to see what is hidden within this storm. You've been chosen for something much bigger, and everything you're going through is preparing you for the deepest spiritual awakening you could imagine. The real question is, are you willing to accept this truth, even if it challenges you? Because from this moment on, everything can change, and you will never be the same. The suffering you're facing didn't happen by accident. It's not a mere sequence of events, nor a coincidence that you can ignore. What you're feeling right now, the pain that consumes you, has a deeper purpose than you can comprehend. God, in His infinite wisdom, uses pain as a means to awaken you, to shape you, and to bring you closer to a greater purpose. You are being guided, even though you can't see the path ahead. As hard as it may be, it's through suffering that you begin to notice what really matters. It goes deep into the roots of how you see yourself and reveals your weaknesses, fears, and limitations. But don't be deceived. This exposure is not a punishment, but an opportunity for you to purify yourself, to reevaluate your life and your choices. God doesn't allow you to go through this for no reason. Every tear you shed has spiritual value. It's in this moment that you need to ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? It's not just something to endure. Every second of suffering has a deeper reflection. God is not absent in your suffering. He's right there beside you, watching you, shaping you into something greater. Pain, in this context, becomes a tool of transformation, a way to strengthen you spiritually and help you reach a higher level of consciousness. You are being challenged to look beyond what your eyes can see right now. Suffering may temporarily blind you, but at the same time, it has the power to open your eyes to truths you never imagined before. It's not punishment, but a chance for growth, for awakening to a new vision of yourself and the world around you. In the midst of despair, there's a key to freedom waiting to be discovered. Now, the crucial question is, will you let this pain transform you? Suffering is being used by God to purify your soul, and instead of despairing, you must accept the process. Don't hold on to the idea that this is all a mistake or something without purpose. Pain has a greater meaning, and that's what you need to understand in order to move forward. Only then will you be able to perceive the greatness of what is to come. Suffering may seem like the end, but in reality, it's just the beginning of something much bigger. The pain you feel right now might be clouding your vision, preventing you from seeing the true reason behind it all. You're so focused on the weight of your anguish that you can't see the seeds of transformation being planted in your soul. God is working in you, but this process is invisible to your eyes because it happens in deep layers, beyond what you can see or understand. Suffering challenges you to look beyond the surface. It's not just a negative experience, but a reflection of something you need to change in your life. Every tear, every challenge is showing you what you need to leave behind, what no longer serves your spiritual growth. You are being forced to question your choices, your values, and even your faith, because God knows that in order to take you to the next level, He needs to remove what's holding you back from evolving. You may be thinking that God has abandoned you, but the truth is, He is closer to you than ever. The suffering you're going through is a divine opportunity to rediscover your essence, to learn to trust Him in the midst of the storm. Sometimes you need to go through the desert in order to see the promised land. It's not the pain that defines you, but what you do with it. The way you react to pain is what will determine your spiritual evolution. The illusion of suffering is in seeing it only as something negative, without understanding that it's a messenger, a key to your awakening. Pain is trying to show you what you've ignored for so long. God is allowing you to face these difficulties because He knows you're capable of overcoming them. It's not to break you, but to build you in a stronger, more conscious and more aligned way with His purpose. You're about to discover that suffering is not the end of the line, but the path to deep transformation. How you handle this pain will be the key to your liberation. So instead of just focusing on the pain itself, begin to look at what it's revealing about you. What are you not seeing now, but what God is trying to show you? Suffering may be an illusion, but the wisdom it brings is real and powerful. The suffering you're facing right now is not just a challenge for the body or the mind, but a deep test of your faith. When everything seems to crumble around you and hope seems distant, it's in that moment that the true essence of your faith is revealed. God is not asking if you can bear the pain. He's asking if you can trust Him, even without seeing the way out. Faith is not a simple act of believing when everything is fine, but the ability to stand firm when the storms are raging around you. This purification of faith is something you cannot avoid. With every difficulty you face, God is refining your trust in Him, teaching you that you can be stronger than you think. He knows that in order for you to be the most powerful version of yourself, your faith must be tested to its limits. It's not a punishment but a preparation. You cannot access the deepest potential of your soul without going through this purification journey. It's difficult but necessary. At this moment, you need to look at suffering in a new way. It's the furnace where your faith is being purified. When life begins to challenge you in ways you never imagined, that's when true faith is formed. It's not in easy victories that you find your true strength, but in the hardest moments, when everything seems lost, but you still choose to trust. Every moment of pain is an opportunity to strengthen your trust in God and in His plan for your life. God allows you to go through these moments so that you can learn to trust His presence, even when He seems to be silent. The test of faith is not about what you see right now, but about what you believe despite what's in front of your eyes. He wants to know, do you trust even when there are no visible signs of help? Every challenge you face, every tear you shed, is taking you to a deeper level of faith, a level where you no longer depend on circumstances, but on an unwavering trust in God. Now it's time for you to ask yourself, is my faith stronger than the pain I'm feeling? If you're starting to understand that suffering is the soil where your faith grows, then you're on the right path. Don't give up now, because the purification of your faith is the preparation for something much greater. The test you're going through is the key to a future where trust in God will be the foundation of your entire life. The path to spiritual awakening has never been easy. True transformation doesn't happen in comfort. It is forged in difficulties, challenges, and trials. You are climbing a mountain that seems steep and endless, but with each step, you are getting closer to the most authentic version of yourself. God isn't allowing you to face these challenges to see you suffer, but to strengthen you so that you become who you were truly called to be. The suffering, no matter how hard it is the rock upon which your true essence is being built. It's normal to want to give up, to look at the top and feel like you'll never make it. But the truth is, you are not alone on this journey. Every painful step you take is one step closer to your purpose. You may not see the end right now, but God already sees it. He knows the path is tough, but it's necessary for you to achieve something that can't be obtained any other way. True strength doesn't come from avoiding difficulties, but from facing them with courage and faith. As you climb this spiritual mountain, each obstacle becomes a lesson. Every stone in your path is an opportunity for growth. Each fall is a lesson in how to rise again with more wisdom. God is allowing you to live this climb because he knows that when you finally reach the top, you will be more than just someone who survived the pain. You will be someone transformed, stronger, more aware, more aligned with your divine purpose. Don't give up now, because you are closer than you think. The difficult path is also a path of self-discovery. Every difficulty you face forces you to look inward, to confront your limitations, your fears, and even your limiting beliefs. It's a process of purification, where everything that no longer serves your growth is removed. It may be painful, but this pain is necessary so you can be shaped into the image that God has for your life. Believe me, the view from the top will be worth every step you take on the way up. What you need to understand now is that there are no shortcuts. The difficult path is the only one that leads to true transformation. And although the top seems far, you must remember that every step you take brings you closer to becoming the person God has called you to be. He didn't put you on this path to see you fall, but to see you overcome. You are closer to victory than ever, and the climb you fear is, in fact, your liberation. There are moments in life when God seems to be silent. You pray, cry out, ask for answers, but all you get is a deafening silence. This emptiness, this divine silence may feel distressing, but it is exactly in this space that God works most deeply in your life. He is not distant from you. He is shaping you in a place where your dependence is no longer on what you can see or understand, but on trust in His presence, even when it's not visible. Silence is a lesson, an opportunity to learn to trust Him in a deeper way, where faith doesn't depend on quick answers or evident signs. When you find yourself in that emptiness, in that unsettling silence, it's easy to feel abandoned. Doubt begins to grow, and you start to question, has God forgotten me? Doesn't He hear me? But it is precisely in these moments that you are challenged to deepen your trust. God's silence is not the absence of His action, but an opportunity for you to grow in faith. He is working in you in a way that cannot be understood with human eyes. He's preparing something great for you, and this silence is a vital part of the process. What God wants you to learn in the silence is that He is not only in our victories, but in our struggles, in our uncertainties. In silence, He teaches us to detach from the need for control, to learn to rest in His sovereignty. It is in this emptiness that you begin to realize you don't need an immediate answer to trust. Full trust in God is built the moment you choose to believe, without needing to understand. It is in silence that faith is purified, strengthened, and made unshakable. Silence is also an invitation to look within, to seek His presence on a deeper level. When everything around you quiets down, it is in silence that you begin to hear the soft voice of God. He doesn't shout at you. He whispers in the margins of your life, in the emptiness, in the waiting. This is the moment to seek a more intimate relationship with Him, where communication is not just about asking for something, but simply being in His presence, trusting that He is working in you even without words. In this silence you are being shaped. God has not withdrawn from you. He is preparing you for something deeper. The emptiness you feel is not abandonment, but preparation for the next phase of your spiritual journey. You are learning to trust when there are no clear answers, to walk without knowing every step, and to rest in the certainty that in the end, everything will have a divine purpose. This silence is the key to your transformation. Suffering has the power to reveal what you refuse to see about yourself. It goes beyond physical or emotional pain. It exposes weaknesses, limiting beliefs, and even the pride you harbor in your heart. That pride, disguised as self-sufficiency, the belief that you can control everything, is often the root of your suffering. God allows you to face these difficulties because He knows your spiritual growth depends on you breaking free from these illusions. You are being forced to face the truth about who you are, and often that hurts. The pain you feel right now is not just a reflection of external circumstances, but a reflection of your inner self. God is allowing you to go through this storm so that you can see where your pride has been keeping you away from Him. He wants you to understand that without Him, you can do nothing. Suffering is not a punishment, but a divine intervention to make you see that, no matter how much you fight against life's winds, you cannot walk alone. Pride blinds you, but pain has the power to open your eyes to the truth. As you go through these struggles, what you need to understand is that suffering can be a mirror. It reflects the reality of your heart. Pride prevents you from seeing your limitations, makes you think you can control everything. But suffering comes to teach you that without humility, you cannot move forward. Every difficulty you face now is an opportunity for you to shed that illusion of self-sufficiency and surrender to God's will. When you let go of pride, the path becomes clearer and peace begins to reign even in the storm. God is using this moment to confront the pride that has been hiding in the shadows of your being. Suffering is the tool He uses to break down the barrier between you and true transformation. He didn't put you in this situation to destroy you, but to rebuild you into someone stronger, humbler, and more aware of His sovereignty. The question you must ask yourself now is, what is this suffering trying to teach me about my pride? If you can recognize this, you will be ready to free yourself from everything that has been holding you back from growing. It's time to look within and realize that the greatest trap is not the external difficulties, but the way your pride has been manipulating your decisions. God allows suffering so that you can finally put your ego aside and walk in humility. Suffering then stops being a burden and becomes a teacher. Are you ready to learn this lesson? If so, your true spiritual awakening will begin, and the liberation you seek will be more real than ever. Although suffering may seem like a cruel enemy, it carries with it a hidden opportunity that you still cannot see. God doesn't allow you to face these struggles without a purpose, because He knows that every pain you carry is preparing you for something grand. Pain is not the end, but a divine process of transformation. It is shaping your destiny in ways you never imagined. What you see as loss or failure is, in reality, the path to fulfilling your true purpose. The question is, are you willing to see this pain as an opportunity and not as an obstacle? Many times, we cling to the idea that suffering is something to be avoided, that it's something that should be solved as quickly as possible. But God has a different perspective. To Him, every tear you shed is a seed. Every moment of despair is a chance to plant something that will grow in your life in a transformative way. He uses pain as a mold to prepare you for the great mission He has for you. And in the end, it will be your ability to handle this pain that will make you ready to reach your highest destiny. Right now, God is working in you in an invisible way. You may not notice, but He is shaping your character, your patience, and your inner strength. You are being forged like gold refined in fire. The pain may be challenging you every step of the way, but it is also preparing you for something you never dreamed of achieving. Your story doesn't end in suffering. It's just beginning to unfold in a deeper, more meaningful way. This process is shaping your destiny in a way you never imagined. The true opportunity God is offering you lies in how you respond to this pain. Instead of lamenting, instead of seeking immediate solutions, He invites you to trust in His divine process. Every difficulty you face now is not a mistake, but an adjustment on your spiritual path. Pain is clearing away what is unnecessary, removing distractions, and bringing you closer to the most authentic version of yourself. Each challenge is an essential step toward becoming who God always wanted you to be. What you need to understand now is that the suffering you are living through is not an eternal burden, but a divine opportunity for growth. When you see pain this way, it stops being an enemy and becomes an ally that prepares you for the greatest achievement of your life. Pain is shaping your destiny, and the real question is not why am I suffering, but what is God doing in my life through this pain? By accepting the hidden opportunity behind it, you begin to see your journey in a completely new light, and your destiny becomes clearer than ever. Sometimes the pain you're facing doesn't come from what you've lost, but from what you're still holding on to. In this case, suffering is not just a reflection of external circumstances, but of the emotional attachment you have to what no longer serves your growth. God allows you to go through this process because He knows that true liberation comes when you finally learn to let go of what keeps you trapped. Pain, although difficult, is teaching you the price of detachment. You need to let go of what binds you so you can grow and move forward toward what He has reserved for you. Each time you hold on to something God has already asked you to let go of, you create a block on your path. Suffering comes as a sign that you are fighting against the natural flow of life, against the divine process of transformation. God wants you to know that what you're leaving behind doesn't define who you are, and that by releasing it, you open yourself up to something infinitely better. In this context, suffering is the price of liberation, the price of finally reaching the peace and purpose He has for you. Detachment doesn't mean loss, but growth. While it may feel painful to leave behind what you know and love, God teaches you that true freedom lies in no longer being controlled by these things. Suffering is preparing you for this freedom, because without detachment, you will never be able to experience the fullness of life He has planned for you. He is asking you to give up what weighs you down, what limits you, so that in exchange, He can give you something much more grand. You need to understand that suffering, in many cases, is a direct consequence of your attachment to the past, to limiting beliefs, and to the fears you carry. God is allowing you to go through this because He knows you are ready for change. Every moment of pain is an opportunity for you to look inward and realize where you're still holding on to the old, the familiar, and to what no longer serves your future. Letting go is painful, but it is the only way to move forward toward what God has prepared for you. The question you should ask yourself now is, what am I holding on to that no longer belongs to my destiny? The suffering you feel right now is directly related to what you're unwilling to let go of. Free yourself from the weight you're carrying, because by doing so, you will open yourself to a new phase of your life where peace and true spiritual freedom will become yours. The price of detachment may be high, but the reward that comes after it is immeasurable. God is calling you to let go of what is preventing you from flying. Suffering, as much as it may seem like an end, is actually the portal to a new beginning. When everything seems lost, when you feel broken and powerless, that's when God begins His deepest work. Suffering is not just something you endure, but something that transforms you from the inside out, preparing you for a new level of life, more aligned with His purpose. Every moment of pain, every tear shed is a step toward a new version of yourself, stronger, wiser, more aware of the greatness of His plan for your life. The process of spiritual transformation you are experiencing may be painful, but it is not in vain. God is using suffering as a tool to break the barriers that prevent you from reaching your true potential. It's like gold being refined in fire. The more you go through the process, the purer and stronger you become. This suffering is not destroying you. It is preparing you for something much greater, something you may not be able to see yet, but which is already being shaped in your life. The new beginning God has for you starts the moment you allow suffering to play its role in your transformation. The pain you're feeling right now is the last resistance of your old self, trying to hold on, trying to cling to what no longer serves you. But you are about to be freed, about to enter a new phase of your spiritual journey. God is allowing this pain so you can grow, evolve, and align with your true destiny. No matter how hard it is now, no matter how broken you may feel, the suffering you are living through is the initial step toward a deep and lasting transformation. Every bit of pain brings you closer to the person you were destined to be. What you need to understand is that suffering is just the reaction of your being to the purification process that is happening. Pain is a catalyst, a force that accelerates your spiritual growth. God allows you to go through this because He knows you're ready for this transformation. He is not testing you just to see you suffer, but to make you someone stronger, wiser, more prepared for the purpose He has for you. Suffering is opening the door to a new era in your life, an era of peace, fulfillment, and alignment with God's will. Now is the time to reflect. Are you willing to accept this transformation, even if it comes with pain? Suffering is the key that will lead you to a new version of yourself. By accepting it and allowing it to be part of your process, you will allow God to guide you toward the new beginning He has prepared for you. Don't be fooled. This is the start of a transformative journey, and what seems like the end now will actually be the beginning of a new era in your spiritual life. The suffering you've been facing has not been in vain. It has been a preparation, a transformation, a necessary process for you to reach the strongest and truest version of yourself. Now, you are ready to look back and see the beauty that arises from chaos, to understand that every pain, every tear, every challenge was part of a divine plan that brought you here. God has not abandoned you. He has been shaping you, guiding you, and strengthening you. And what you've lived so far was the beginning of a much greater journey. Now, looking ahead, you know the path won't be easy, but it will be full of purpose. You've been called to something grand, and by facing suffering with faith, trust, and courage, you will be more aligned than ever with the destiny God has prepared for you. Pain is not the end, but the beginning of something new, something transformative. And from this moment on, every step you take will be a step toward a purer, stronger version of yourself, more connected with His divine purpose. So I ask you now, are you ready to move forward? To embrace every moment of pain as an opportunity for transformation and liberation? Because by doing so, you will discover a new power within yourself, a new trust in God, and a peace you never imagined possible. The journey doesn't end here, it's just beginning, and the best is yet to come.